Hello, Anne. It was so nice to see somebody waiting in the queue. This is the first time that's happened. I was so prepared for no one being here that I made up a little song. And it goes, "Will I have any friends today, or will everyone visit and never stay? Will I have any friends tonight, or will my music be shit that no one likes?" But thanks to you, I don't need to sing it because I have a friend. I think I put a little bit too much whiskey in my soda water. Streaming is really weird, guys, because I can ask you a question and then it's silence. I don't know if somebody's actually going to answer, or if they're typing an answer, or if they're just going to leave me hanging. If I play guitar, I have to take off half my rings. I wear a lot of rings. One of our kids at our Warhammer group said that I wear as many rings as a mob boss, and I had to eat a burger and I had to just take off 10 rings and put them in a big treasure pile. It was great. And then you just hold the rings and it's, oh man. And part of why I like Brisbane is if I want to get on a bus, I can hail down any bus and they have a ramp and a spot for my wheelchair. Whereas where we live here, no buses. Until I went to Brisbane 2 years ago, I had never caught a bus in a wheelchair. And I'd been in a wheelchair for 12 years. You poor thing. Everything is banana themed. You can't get away from bananas at the Big Banana. Toboggans. If you've got toboggans and they are not shaped like bananas at the Big Banana, you are failing your job. Whoever has designed toboggans or whatever they are at the Big Banana and they're not banana themed, no, missed opportunity. Get on it. Everything at the Big Banana should be banana themed. Sink, shaped like a banana. Bathrooms, shaped like a banana. Carts that take you around, shaped like bananas. Every employee should be in a banana suit, in a banana costume. Bananas everywhere. Absolutely everyone. Oh boy. Oh boy. Paths. We don't have paths in our street. Feels like a small ask. But, we'll go into a world where I can catch buses and I can catch trains and I can go into basically anywhere and everywhere. And then we come back to a place with no paths. Suren, hi! You made it! If things get quiet, then I'll just whip out the guitar and start strumming. Clanfolk. Yeah, it's so good. It seems like it's similar to those sorts of ones. But yeah, I've just been hooked. I was really into Stardew Valley for a bit, and so it was I really got into that, and then Clanfolk is kind of like a community-wide Stardew Valley. But yeah, Stardew Valley, the way I get hooked on games, I'll see if my folder for Stardew is over there. I do data entry for games, which is why I'm now trying to get a job in data entry. I will just get it and come right back. So when I play games, I get really into it. This is my Stardew Valley folder. These are all the farm buildings and how much they cost to make. Then you've got the price of vegetables to sell, and then what you can turn them into, and then how much they will sell for that. Then the same for fruit. Fruit continued. There's a lot of fruit in the game. Foraging items and their products and the cost they go for. Okay. All the recipes in the game and what goes into them. Prices of fish. Fish continued. Fish locations and the perfect environments in which to catch those fish. Fish continued. Other fish and fish recipes. The various artisan goods like eggs, cheese, and mayonnaise and milk and stuff. things you can make on the loom, the oil maker, the keg, the cask, and preserves. And the costs of artifacts and minerals and what you can sell them for. And then I have this thing where I like cross off achievements. Yeah. So when we found a job that was in data entry, Maul was like, honey, you do that. You do that. You do that for fun. That's what you call a raging good time. So might as well get paid. One of my biggest regrets of my life was when I was a teenager and my friend had Harvest Moon on her Game Boy. She let me play with her Game Boy. She's like, here's how to save a new game. Don't save it over my game. And I accidentally saved over the game she'd been playing for like a year. Maddie from year 9, I am still sorry for that. I still get anxious about that. Like, she was so good about it. I'm sure she cried. Like, the amount of hours that I've put into particular games, if somebody was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I deleted all of them. It was also that I'd never used a Game Boy before, so to leave me there and to quickly say, oh yeah, that's how you save it, but don't do that other thing. It's like, press the red button, but don't press the orange button. Bye. It's like, well, mistakes are easy to make on things that you've never done before. Yeah, I'm not really good with combat in games. It stresses me out, and my therapist explained to me that with autism, your brain can't always tell the difference between like something that's real and then something that's make-believe. And so when I watch a movie and it's really high stress and high adrenaline, my brain can't tell the difference. I get very frightened. I don't like horror movies because my brain can't tell the difference. So when I'm playing a game that's like a lot of combat and I'm really, really into it and my adrenaline is spiking, I get really overwhelmed because my brain is telling me that I'm going to die. My brain is telling me that I'm fighting for my life, even though it's a video game. If I'm playing them on my own, I have to like exit to the menu a lot so that I can remind myself, like, it's just a game. It's just a game. I'm okay. The thing with Clan Folk is there's no combat. It's all just relaxing. The thing you're fighting against is the coldness of the winter and whether or not you can get all your little guys dressed in fur coats in time. But yeah, it's really chill and oh man, it's so good. I'm gonna relax by playing The Sims or Clan Folk, and he's gonna relax by shooting a bunch of space bugs. My cupboard of shame is showing. I've got like a box of journals from over the years. Yeah, there's a lot. And sometimes for me it's a lot about like I'll just write out exactly what happened, something that happened that was stressing me out. I'll write it out. I'll even write out what I wish I'd said, because then I stop some of the ruminations. It's sort of, if I write it out, then I'm less likely to think it over and over again. Because if the thought comes up, I'm like, hey, I wrote that out. It's on paper. I don't need to go through this again. I remember seeing an image once where it was like somebody talking to their therapist, and in their head was like this messy ball, and in the therapist's head, it like the string went to the therapist's head, and then after that, it like wove a scarf. So it was like you got a messy ball of wool, and then you talk to your therapist, and it like eases it out, and it becomes like this beautiful scarf. I feel like that's what happens when I journal. So it's all messy in my head, and then as I write it out, it kind of gets neater, and I can start to make sense of it. And sometimes I'll be writing in my like journal, and I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's what I thought of. Both of us have spent a lot of our lives with people thinking we're a little bit too weird. And then we like started this Warhammer group, and our basic thing is, there's no such thing as too weird. There's no such thing as too weird. Join our group and we can promise you that there is no such thing as too weird. Exactly. My dad had a saying growing up, and it was normal is what you make it. If this is our normal, that is our normal. And if anyone else tells you you're not normal, it just means that that's not their normal. That's fine. It's also that like when people join our group, I'll often just weave into conversation that I'm neurodivergent and queer. And so it's like some people just, you can see them breathe a sigh of relief because it's like, oh, okay, like this is a place for folks who might not be typical in some way. Like they see one of the group founders is disabled, neurodivergent, and queer. It's like, oh, we've got all the bases covered. Where you can't. There's not really going to be a box that you can tick that we haven't seen before. It's also that some Warhammer and gaming communities can be kind of toxic, and with ours, we make sure people know we are not competitive. We're not competitive. We're all just here to have a good time. We love it if you're a beginner. You don't need to know anything about the hobby at all. Just come along and have a good time. So people come along and like they really like the vibe of our group. It's like, yeah, we're kind of the exception as a Warhammer group that is very people focused and social focused of like you can come to our group and spend the 4 hours talking about stuff that isn't Warhammer, and we're not going to be like, are you guys gonna game or what? You can paint your miniatures and just call them the Blue Soldier Man, and we're not going to quiz you on like, yeah, but what faction and what and what was his Primarch and like where is he from? And I don't care. I don't give a shit if you don't know who you're painting. If you're having fun painting them, that's okay. That's cool. If you play a game and you don't know what the hell you're doing, uh, just just play. We just want people to come and have a good time. And when I started the group with my partner, like it was his idea to start it. At that point, I had been painting miniatures and I had only really been into Warhammer for a couple of months. So one of the founders of the group had been into Warhammer for a couple of months. That's it. If you start off and say, hey, does anyone want to have a competitive game? Does anyone want to have like a one-to-one, like equal on the level game? Fine. But we advertise our group as beginner friendly and casual. And then like, so after that, we put a post up in our group and Maul had found an article from some of the designers of the game saying competitive play has ruined the game. Competitive play is against the spirit of the game. Those of us who created the game created it for storytelling. We don't even keep score. We don't care who wins. It's not about, yeah, I beat you by 2 points. It's about, oh, and then we were in this battle and like my guy just like pipped yours at the post. And then like, so he was hanging on by a thread and then his buddy came in and saved him. That's the stuff you remember about a game. You don't kind of go away from it going like, oh yeah, I beat you by 2 points, therefore I'm better. What? What? Maul and I like remember the games for their moments, for the storytelling moments of like, remember how she was charging outside of the door and then she like gunned that guy down. That's the stuff we remember. But yeah, we shared this article about like the actual game designers saying tournament play has ruined the spirit of the game. And we put that up there saying that's not what our group is about. If you want that, go to this other city. There's another city that runs tournaments. There's another city that runs competitive play. That is not us. So what we think is that they don't like the fact that they are playing with toys. They can't reconcile the fact that they are playing with toys. So it's like, no, I'm competing. It's a competitive sport. It's a competition. Dude, you're playing with toys. We're playing with dolls. It's okay. It's okay that we're playing with dolls. You're playing with dolls on a board. You're playing a game. You're playing a board game and you have little guys that you painted and they're little dolls and it's okay. No, I am going to an event where I'm going to have a competitive activity. You're playing with dolls. We all are. We all are. Warhammer dollies. It's okay. It's fine. Own it. And that's the thing. I'm a war gamer. I'm a competitive war gamer. It's like you're using dice, which you get from game stores, and you painting little dollies, and they have little faces. They have little faces, and they have little names, and your guy wins, and then you move them across the board. Like, play chess if you really want to play a game that isn't dollies. Like, oh, honey, like, are you that fragile? Play with your dolls and be happy. But it is that thing of like, it's like they want to play the game, but they don't want to admit that they just want to play the game, so they have to turn it into something that it isn't. It's that hard thing of somebody shaming you for being passionate about something. That's when somebody calls you a nerd or a geek. Like, I remember being called Spock at school. Spock was the thing. There were nerds, and then there was Nell, because that was like the new word for a hyper nerd. But it was literally just because, undiagnosed autism, I would just hyperfixate and monologue about something, but it was literally just shaming me for loving something, like shaming me for being passionate about something. And it's like, you haven't found your thing yet, maybe, but don't shame me for the fact that I have. If you've got a bunch of people who are laughing and having a good time, I don't care what label you put on me and my friends. I literally don't care. If you call us a bunch of nerds, okay, we're having fun with our friends. So is there a downside to this? I have not found the downside to being a nerd when I have fun with friends. Like, I don't like. Okay, so I'm a nerd. I'm a dork. I'm a geek. I'm a Spock. And I hang out with people who are into the same thing as me. And we all go out for steak and cocktails and have a laugh. Is there a downside? Can somebody point out the downside of being a nerd when that's where I am? Like, at 35, it took me a while. It took me a while to really find my people. But, dude. But that's that thing, though, where like there are some people who can't exist with the fact that somebody else is having a good time that they don't understand. It's, I don't understand what you're doing, therefore there's got to be something wrong with it. So I'm going to pick on you and call you names. It's like, can't you just busy yourself having your own good time? Just leave us be. Let us hang out in the computer room. Exactly. Saying, I don't get it, but you do you, is fine. You don't have to say, I don't understand, therefore I need to judge. That doesn't need to be a reaction. That really doesn't need to be a reaction. There's a crazy response where it's, I don't understand. Could you help me understand? Like, that's wild. That is wild. Maybe I could have a look. Maybe you could show me. Maybe we could meet on the same page. And, then I won't be afraid of it. I still might not be into it, but I won't be afraid of it. Saying that you don't understand something is never really an excuse for saying that it's bad. It's like the kids who say, I don't like that food. Have you tried it? No. I don't think you need to try everything because there's really not enough time on this earth, but to say you dislike the people who do that hobby because you don't understand it, that's the thing that is kind of trippy to me. I'm getting to the bottom soon. We'll see my nose. It's the lime soda water and whiskey. Imagine if like you're like, can I have a drink? The person's like, sure. And you think you're friends. And then just this ominous music starts playing. You're like, oh shit. Am I the bad guy? Are they the bad guy? It's revealing everything. There are also like other immutable laws of the universe. Like, you cannot be mad if you skip. If you're mad, just skip. Skip around in a circle. And still like talk about why you're mad and skip. And you will eventually laugh. And you have to stop being mad. Just skip it out. You're feeling kind of weighed down, just skip it out. Now, come on, let's skip it out. Let's skip it out. There we go. We saw the nose. We got the nose shot. That's the money shot, baby. Sometimes when people get tired of life, the sense of humor is like one of the first things to go. And then sometimes the sense of humor is one of the first things to come back. Oh, the nose shot. I'm not doing the nose shot again. The nose shot sounds like a terrible way of taking alcohol. I feel like sometimes the sicker I get, God compensates for it with humor. Because I'm of the belief that like some people believe that like, you can pray your illness away or whatever, and I don't know how much individual micromanagement control God really can have. I believe that he can work I do believe he can work miracles, but at the same time, if you fix me, then he'd have to fix everybody. But I do think that he can give little gifts of spirit. I don't know that he can like clear everyone's slate of the illnesses that we develop simply because we're living in a really messed up world that causes a lot of issues. But I do think he believes that he can give us little gifts of spirit, and I do think that he's given me like a little gift of spirit of humor. I have to start drinking water now. It's always the boring part of the afternoon. I've had people like from church come up to me and say, I'm going to pray for healing for you. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pray for healing for you too, because you're just as messed up as I am. For me, you can just see it. You can see that like this thing's going wrong in my body, but my spirit, baby, my spirit is fine. My spirit is just fine. I am healthy. I am absolutely healthy. I'm healthier now in my spirit, the thing that counts, than I was when I was walking around, when I wasn't on 90 pills a day, all of that stuff. I am healthier now. And there are people who would look at the mirror and see themselves standing up and see themselves walking and talking and breathing and all of that and think, oh, I'm so healthy. I don't need healing. And I'm like, well, check your spirit before you think that, I think. That's the thing. Like, as a musician, if I'm like going to get a job in like music, if I'm going to perform and stuff, part of the deal with me is you're getting a sassy disabled dude. Like, it's kind of the deal. Like, I can make sassy jokes and it's part of my job. And in like the day job that I'm working towards, clinical coding, I'm not saying anything to anyone. So it's kind of got everything covered. And yeah, like I found my my clinical coding thing in a list of jobs for severely socially anxious people because I don't want to be in those situations. The customer isn't always right when it comes to their sense of humor. It's also like when people say the customer is always right, it's the customer is always right about their taste, not about their attitude. The customer is always right about what they want. If they say they want their kitchen in orange and green, the customer is right. If the customer says, I demand you get this done in a week faster than is usual, the customer is not right. The customer is not right. If the customer says you're an asshole because you are not going to do it faster than usual, the customer is not right. The customer is right in that they think their orange and green kitchen is great. That's where the customer is right. Hello.
What's going on in here?
Oh my gosh. Special guest. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. We're having chats.
Who are you hanging out with?
We've got Ols, we've got Suran, we've got Anne, and we've got two unknowns.
Two sneaky, cheeky
two
little guys.
Sneaky, cheeky. Are you one of them?
I am.
You You know everything.
I know about this. Hi, Suran. How you doing? You're over in Colorado, aren't you?
California?
California?
Was it California?
I don't know.
I think it was California.
I know it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah, I've been struck with them all.
California. Yeah,
California.
Gorgeous.
You live near cows. I used to live near cows. We live near cows. You say hello to the cows sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I rang.
It tried to lick.
Yeah, you thought I was tasty. Did you want a cup of tea or anything?
I would love a cup of tea because I finished my drink.
Okay. Well,
Melbourne, if you have any.
Right,
Thank you.
It's tea time.
Yeah. He visits me and offers me tea. And he was in the chat the whole time. He was sneaking in here. He was one of the hidden two. There are bits of the US that we would like to visit, but at the same time, I'm queer and disabled. So I don't know if the US is a very good place for me. Yeah, I'd have to be, if I got big enough and was going to do gigs and like had the support of like somebody essentially sponsoring me, like if I went over to a venue and they were going to look after me, I would consider it. But yeah, I don't know how I'd go if I like got sick over there or something like that. It's just, I'd really love to go to Maine. I'd really love to go to New England. Like I've been dreaming of going to New England since I was a kid watching Murder, She Wrote, which is set in Maine. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'd really love to go there. So that would be a dream. Our love language is tea. Yeah, I'm done with old England. I want New England. I don't even just want England. Even when I started like eating more yogurt, and I'm like, is this a food or a very thick drink? What are you? What are you, yogurt? What are you meant to be? What are you trying to be? What do you want me to think you are? What are you, Yogurt? My monkey collection up there, and then I've got 2 on my bed. I've got Grum, who sits at the base of my bed and watches over me, and then Walter, who gets cuddled. But then, well, like in bed sometimes, Walter will end up on Maul's side. I'm like, "Give me back my boyfriend." He's like, "No, he's mine." If you guys haven't tried Melbourne breakfast tea, you really need to. It's so good. I've heard there's a Scottish breakfast tea, and I want to find it somewhere. Maybe up north I can find a T2 store and get their Scottish breakfast tea. And then mix that with whiskey, because sometimes I mix my tea with whiskey. I'm Scottish. I have to drink my Scotch whiskey with everything. He's like a toddler because he has his funny little chunky belly. He's just a little sweet boy. Little sweet boy. And he's so little, he'll be able to fit in my suitcase. When I used to travel, when my anxiety was really severe, I had to take Walter with me. And Walter is about 2.5 feet long. And I would take Walter in my suitcase. The thing about Walter, though, is like, because I clutch him by his neck when I sleep. He has like no stuffing around his neck or around his arms because I like grip him like this. My monkey is so small he'll fit in my suitcase. Yeah. I love to fit a monkey in my suitcase when I'm traveling. When I'm picking a suitcase, my main concern is, will it fit my monkey? And how large a monkey will it fit? My shelf is for my dog and for collecting food that falls from my mouth when I eat because I'm clumsy and messy, and for holding a monkey. It's a very multi-purpose shelf. See, no hands. How many monkeys can reliably comfortably fit in the vehicle? Yeah, okay, so it looks good. So like on average, how many monkeys do fit in there, including the boot? Yeah, I just want to get an idea, just rough count. How many monkeys, average sized monkeys, would you say? Any feedback from other people on their monkeys not being able to fit in the vehicle? Comfortably fit in the vehicle. I don't want them squished up. But yeah, like we've got miniatures there, and then stuff for miniatures and boxes of miniatures we still need to pack and make, and then more stuff of miniatures that we still need to make. But yeah, I could show off my minis. I think that would be fun. Yeah, I have favorite miniatures. I have ones where like I've just painted them really, really well. And so I really like looking at them. Or ones where like I like feel like they play well. So I really like playing with them because like they do really well in battle. Hi. 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 Harry baby. Mm. Mm. Hi baby. Oh, my little one. I get the full baby experience with Maggie. Yeah. Hey, sweet pea. Hi. She's a sweetie. She's so sweet. I remember like I used to see pictures of dogs on Instagram and stuff and online, and I'd be like, I bet they're posed. I bet they're made to look so cute. And then I got her. I'm like, oh wow, she just really is that cute. She does all those cute things. I don't ask her to do those things. She just does them. She's just naturally that adorable. Maggie Marshmallow. She's also very dumb. She's the dumbest dog around, and that makes her even more special. Hey. Okay, too hot for hugs. Okay. All right. There we go. When I saw it, I thought, that's an eagle riding a motorcycle. I need to buy this ring because I've never seen a ring that is an eagle riding a motorcycle. And I need to be the only man in town that has an eagle riding a motorcycle. It's so cool. It's an eagle riding a frickin' motorcycle. Like, I love finding those things where I'm like, who designed that? Who was that for? Except for me. She doesn't care. She doesn't know. Yeah. Eagle Riding a Motorcycle is the new band name. Yeah. It's just my little cuteness stack. That's all right. It's just a monkey on a puppy. Oh, you getting annoyed, baby? We'll deal with it because you're part of the cuteness stack. Do you have anything to say, Maggie? But my thing now is I'm just going to like tell them that it's rude to ask me, say that it's very weird to ask a stranger about their trauma and their medical history, and then I'll give them a card that directs them to my YouTube channel. If you really want to know, wade through 5 years of videos and find the information you seek. There's no nice way for me to answer the question of why I can no longer walk. So I'm kind of confused by how the hell you could think that this could make for some pleasant small talk. It has been fun. And then I will put together a highlights reel of, my nose shot, mainly. We say bye. Big love. All right. Bye, everybody.